So if you're on my email list, a couple of weeks ago, I sent out a sort of questionnaire just asking you guys, what more can I do for you in terms of what do you feel is the missing piece? What is the thing that if you just had this thing, you could get to the next step in your licensing career and getting accepted, starting to build your catalog, starting to deliver some royalties, right? And get some placements on TV shows, movies, and commercials. And I got a pretty wide range, actually, of answers. Many of the answers are things that I have already provided either through my master course or through the syndicate. But one of the big ones that, I've made videos actually on this channel kind of poking fun out of it a little bit is, Jesse, I got great music. I know what I'm doing. I don't need anything else. I don't need to learn how to produce music or mix or master. I've got the great stuff. Just tell me where to send my damn music. Like, I just need to know who to send my music to. How do I send it to them? How do I make sure that I get accepted by them? Just give me that information. That's all I really need. I don't need the mentorship. I don't need anything else that you're offering. If I just had that information and not have a list of 300 companies and not knowing where to go with that, I would just get to the next level. I think that would really be the thing that I need. And so I hear you. If you feel that way, I definitely hear you. Now, in the past, my answer has always been, I can't do that homework for you guys. First of all, I just don't have that kind of time to go through and listen to your music, review 300 different companies, decide which one is the best, right? Okay, I hope you guys can have some sympathy for me. There's just not enough hours in the day for me to even be able to feasibly do something like that for you guys, okay? On an individual basis, I can't do that. Impossible. And second of all, I usually feel that should be something that's on you because it's your career and these are companies that you are going to be partnering with, right? So you need to decide for yourself, do I like the kind of placements they're getting? Do I like their sort of business philosophy? Is this somebody that I feel that I could be a team player for? Right? Those are all things that I can't decide for you. Those are things that you have to decide as you do your research for all of these companies. So number one, it's just the feasibility, the practicality of not being able to do that research for you. And number two, you still need to make that decision for yourself. So that's usually why I've always sort of like pumped the brakes on that and not wanted to get into that sort of situation of providing people with direct music library recommendations. And it's actually something I've never done. It's just that when people ask me for it, I'm like, listen, I don't provide those recommendations. I can give you some ideas through the courses that I provide and the teachings that I have and the stuff that I give away for free here on YouTube of how to make sure you get seriously considered. But that's about it. You really have to do that work for yourself. But as these responses came in over and over and over again, and it was just like, man, you know what? This is something I'm not going to be able to get away from. I think this is just going to be an issue that's just out there. And I think there might be a way, it at least got my wheels turning, like maybe there's a way to be able to provide something like that for you guys where I can give you sort of my personal recommendation in terms of here's this library. I'll go through on video, show you guys who they are, what kind of placements they get, if they're legit or not, right? Give you my sort of stamp of approval. Do I believe that this is a legit library that can actually get you placements? That's another thing that I got. People wanting to know, how do I tell the difference between a library that's just going to sleep on me and somebody who's actually going to probably get me some placements? How do you even know that? So I can kind of walk you guys through that. But most importantly, go through their current catalog, listen to their music with you on video, and then say, here's where their catalog is, here's what they have, here's if I were to try to get accepted onto their catalog, here's how I would do it, right? Here's the edge or the angle that I think you guys could have to get onto their catalog, to get accepted, to get that contract from them. I've personally been on to, I'll have to put up the official number. I don't know. It might be 8, 10, 12 different libraries, and I'd say 90% of them are exclusive. Not easy libraries and catalogs to get accepted onto, and I have a really good track record of actually submitting and getting accepted within 24 hours, essentially, of my first initial submission to a new library if I want to partner with them. So I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm doing, and I've been doing this for 10 years. So you'd be getting this information from me, from somebody who's been doing this full-time for at least 8 years now, And so that's something that I might be able to pull together in a way where I would basically tell you, okay, here's the library and here's the genres that if you do these genres, right, let's say it's EDM, rock, hip hop, maybe corporate, orchestral, trailer, I'd basically cover the gamut of the most popular genres that get licensed. And I would say, if you produce, let's say, orchestral trailer music, here's the library. Let's go check them out. Let's go see what they've been doing. Here's their music. Here's how I would approach them. Here's what I recommend you do if you want to get an edge and get in and really impress them so that you have the best chances of getting accepted. Of course, I can't guarantee you get accepted. Different times, you know, these libraries go through different waves, where sometimes they're accepting new writers, other times they're not. But at least it's a much better approach than what a lot of producers are doing, which is they just sort of do a spam campaign. They just throw out, you know, their tracks to, like, you know, they copy paste 300 different companies, BCC them on their email, and just spray and pray. It looks like spam. It gets caught by spam by most of these companies. It goes straight to their spam folder and they don't even hear you. And worst of all, if you do get accepted by more than a couple of companies, now you have to pick and choose, and you have to go let down some companies, which is not a good start to your career, to go be flaking on people within the first couple of weeks of getting started. So this would be a way where I could basically maybe launch with, I don't know, 5 or 10 different libraries, where it's like, here's my recommendations for that. So I'm not sending you guys all to the same company. That would be really stupid, right? So I make sure I be smart about that. And then every month I add new libraries to the roster, and it's going to be current information, right? It's not going to be stuff that's like, yeah, this is what was going on in 2014. It'll be current that month, right, to what's going on in their catalog. That's the other issue why I couldn't always do this, because it's like, listen, every year I'd have to go through and reevaluate 300 companies, because their tastes might change, their clients change, you know, and they have different needs from year to year. So that's just something I can't feasibly keep on top of. But if it's maybe 1 or 2 libraries a month that I'm doing a full review on and giving you the sort of insider's approach to how to really impress them and do well with them, and what kind of music to produce, and the level of production that you should be focusing on, and what I feel is weak about their current catalog, and how you can go in there and strengthen it for them and basically get the best edge, the best potential chance of getting accepted by them. That's something I could definitely do. And if that's a service that makes the difference for you guys, that really would get you from where you are now to being accepted and getting accepted onto a library and getting sort of these ongoing monthly requests. You guys have seen, hopefully you've seen some of the reviews I've done, or interviews I've done with some of my students who are now feeding their libraries 10, 20 songs a month or more, or feeding 2 different libraries. If you want to get into that space, and this would be that one thing that could help you get from sitting on the sidelines, not knowing where to submit your music, or maybe you've already been submitting your music and you're just getting a lot of rejections or no thanks, and you're wondering, where did I go wrong? How come this isn't working? It's possibly because you just are approaching these companies the wrong way, not in a professional manner, not in a way that shows that you understand the business, that you understand their needs, right? It's not about you. It's not about what you want. It's really about making sure that your music serves the needs of their clients and what's going on for them. So essentially what I'm doing in this video is just kind of announcing that I'm putting something like this together, and I really want your guys' feedback on it. I want to know, if I did do something like this, would you be interested in it? Would it be something that would be useful and valuable to you? Do you feel this would be making the difference between where you are now and where you want to be? And also, what do you want from something like this? Like, is there specific information that you feel like, man, Jesse, I love the idea, but you need to include this. Like, if you include this, that'll absolutely make sure that I have the difference, right? Like, I get involved in this industry in a way that I really want to. So leave your comments below. You can always email me, jesse@syncmymusic.com. I want to hear from you guys first before I launch it. I'm thinking about launching this within the next month, so maybe even sooner, but we'll see. But behind the scenes, I'm kind of putting this together and figuring out how it can be done feasibly. This will be completely separate from the syndicate. This is not even like in the same service as the syndicate. So there's not going to be licensing opportunities or feedback on your music or tutorials or production. It's nothing like that. Okay, so this is a completely separate thing. Syndicate members might also want to participate in this, but many of you actually who are interested in getting involved, but the syndicate and the master course are just not feasible for you right now. I understand that. This would be a great alternative option for you that would actually help give you that edge on the competition and make you do things much smarter than probably 80 to 90% of the other producers are in this business, who are just shooting their stuff all over the place. They don't really know what they're doing. They don't have a business mindset, and they certainly don't have an industry insider like myself, a producer who's on your side of the equation, right? I'm not on Music Library on the other side. I'm actually on your side, and I have experience being where you are, submitting music and being really nervous and hoping you get that call back or that response back. So I understand where you guys are at, and I've had experience having a lot of success doing it in this business. So I think it's going to be very valuable, and I think it'd be something that would actually really do well for you guys. So I'm very excited to do it, as long as obviously I can do it in a way that won't interfere with the dozens of other things that I'm already doing, which is, you know, the Syndicate Master Course and my own music licensing projects and all that stuff. But I'm thinking I have a way to do it where I can carve out some time every month to dedicate to it, and it won't interfere too much with my day-to-day activities with everything else that I'm doing. So, and if it helps add that value to you, I'm 100% going to do this. Okay, so that's what I'm also looking for you from this video. So please don't be quiet. If you're loving this, don't be shy. You know, like the video, but more importantly, comment, email me, let me know. Are you down with this? Are you interested in this? And also, what do you want from it? What specifically do you think would help you in your genre and what you're doing? Because the more input I get from you guys before I launch it, the more custom tailored it can be for exactly serving your needs. That's the only way that it's going to absolutely work for you. So leave your comments. Don't be shy. I hope to hear what you guys have to think.